their families. We've got long-standing partnerships. You can find out NFL.com/salute for more info there. Thank you to everyone who has served, is serving here on the ground in the United States and all around the world. Thank you. Let's get to some highlights.
Let's get to some highlights, courtesy of Vikings versus Bears at Soldier Field on Monday Night Football. Let's go to the lakefront. Kirk Cousins, big Creed guy, loves Creed. Tried to hire Creed to play a private birthday party when he turned 30. It was too expensive.
Unironically.
Yes, completely, never been more earnest in his life.
They said no?
No, it was too expensive. Kirk said no. Said it is too much. Ask him to him. She has a very big contract. I don't know if you know that. Adam Thielen, well paid too, and deservedly so. One-handed catch there, making the Bears defense his own private human clay. He never even brings over the right hand. Bears have really created their own prison here with offense, though. It's tough. Third quarter, all right, you can't have any offense. You've only scored one touchdown the entire season. What do? Cordell Patterson runs out of the end zone, as he does almost every time. A lot of time it bites them. Not this time. Cordero in the Chicago night. A beautiful no-doubter. Chuck up the deuces. Walking in with Barkevius Mingo. All right, so the Bears have a bolt of electricity not seen since the days of Devin Hester, and for whom the bell tolls. But then this sucked. Hakeem Hicks was their best defensive player last night. He was all over Dalvin Cook. He leaves with a hamstring tied 13-13. And then Dalvin, starts cooking. He's the chef, even though his last name is Cook. And he started whisking, I guess you could say, the Bears defense because they were losing Hicks. And then Thielen strikes again. And at this point, you're like, all right, was that a wrap? Because we already got our kick return touchdown. We already had Khalil Mack make a huge play, so we don't really have any offense. I don't know. So 1st and 10, okay, it goes down as a sack or an incomplete pass. But even worse, because Nick Foles stays down, you're going to see he gets whipped down kind of by the shoulders, kind of by the jersey. And it doesn't look great. I mean, not terribly violent, easy for me to say. Ifeadi Odenigbo. Garofalo said overnight the news was not dire for Nick Foles. When you see him on the cart and all the fist pounds and everything, you think it might be, but we're staying optimistic. The Bears have a bye. As you saw Trubisky there, he's also injured. Say what you want about Nick Foles. Everybody loves him. He's like the greatest teammate of all time. He just hasn't been really good at quarterback. 19-13. The Bears lose again, and the Vikings, more importantly, win again. But a lot of questions for Coach Matt Nagy, who handed over play calling duties and who's in the midst of a really bitter losing streak. What do you say, Coach?
We're all going through a lot right now, and then at the end to get injured like that, they're still looking at him. It was his leg or his hip, so I think they're still working through the details on that. I have not talked to him yet in the locker room. I will here after we're done and just make sure he's okay. I know he's upset. It's been frustrating. It's been hard, and that's the part that's difficult through all this because no one wants it more than him to be out there to fight with his teammates.
By Nagy. That said, they've lost 4 in a row now. Can we get an update, Mike Garofalo, on both Nick Foles and another quarterback dealing with an injury there in the NFC, Drew Brees? What's the latest?
Yes, that's right, Kay. And you heard Kyle mention it just a few short minutes ago. I did update early in the show. Nick Foles, the news not nearly as bad as probably a lot of folks thought when they saw him leaving the field on a cart. That is never a good sign. But in this case, Nick Foles underwent tests at the stadium last night after the game. They're checking his hip. Matt Nagy had said that it was either his hip or his leg. The hip is the area that they were focused on. You can see that's where he lands there. So they were worried about a possible fracture there, but all the tests taken at the stadium revealed no fracture. Now, he will continue to undergo evaluation here as the Bears head into a bye week, but the early hope is that despite how it looked right here with him on the cart, that he will be available for them as they come back from the bye. Also a possibility that Mitchell Trubisky will be available. Remember, he suffered a shoulder injury when he came in for one play a couple of weeks ago. He's been rehabbing instead of undergoing surgery, so possible that both quarterbacks will be available for the Bears. Matt Nagy has sided with Nick Foles every time when talking about that recently, so we'll see where that goes and which, if both are available. Kay, you also talked about Drew Brees, suffered a couple of fractured ribs the other day in that game, as well as a punctured lung. That's obviously a scary situation. And as Ian Rappaport reported, there is no injured reserve considering right now for Brees, though he is expected to miss some time. IR, you're on there for 3 weeks. So the Saints obviously hopeful that he will be back within a 3-week window. They've got Atlanta at home, then at Denver, and then they face the Falcons again in Atlanta. So that's their 3-week window that they hope that Brees is back within. In the meantime, it'll be Jameis Winston for the Saints and a chance for him to reset his career. That's why he went to New Orleans. Didn't get a lot of money with that deal, but he went to New Orleans with the chance to reset his career a la Teddy Bridgewater. Here comes that opportunity, it appears, for Jameis Winston.
He's got a whole week to prepare, of course, as well. They actually played the Falcons twice in the next 4 weeks, so if it went that long, there's no reason that they couldn't win each of these games with Taysom Hill out there, with Jameis Winston out there. Let's not forget they went 5-0 as a team with Teddy Bridgewater under center when Drew Brees missed those games last year. Thank you so much, Garofalo. Talk to you in a bit. We appreciate the updates. Nate, what do you make of this injury for the Saints going forward?
It's tough. It's tough, but when we look at last year and we had Teddy Bridgewater stepping in, you knew that they can put things together with the people that they have on the roster. I'll take you back to a few years in my career. I remember playing with the Minnesota Vikings. Dante Culpepper goes down. We have Gus Surratt. He comes in. Brad Johnson comes in. We lean on the running backs. Michael Bennett. We lean on Ontario Smith, Mo Williams. I remember playing in Seattle. Matt Hasselbeck goes down. We lean on Sean Alexander. When I was playing in Detroit, Matt Stafford went down. Drew Stanton comes in. Sean Hill comes in. And we lean on our running backs. Reggie Bush, Javed Best. The point I'm trying to make is when Drew Brees goes down, you lean on the best player on the field, which is Alvin Kamara. He's your running back. He's your everything. He can do it all. And I say running backs, but really, I mean, he's a five-tool player. The guy can play wide receiver. You put him in the backfield, best in the screen game. You just get the ball in his hands. So for me, you have to make sure that you feed your beast. And if Jameis Winston comes in, takes care of the ball, Taysom Hill comes in, takes care of the ball, and more importantly, they feature Alvin Kamara like they never have before, the Saints will be perfectly fine.
Yeah, I'm interested in this from a Jameis standpoint. This is why you go to New Orleans to rewrite your career. Because right now, Jameis almost feels like a punchline in some circles. You know, he had 30 touchdowns and led the league in passing yards last year, and everyone rolls their eyes at Jameis Winston. This is it. You can rewrite it. You've got a couple weeks. It's an audition. First of all, Drew Brees threw 2 touchdown passes with broken ribs and a collapsed lung.
That's crazy.
On Sunday.
That's wild.
The toughness of Drew Brees can never be doubted. And I think everyone just assumes, all right, next man up, let's go. But, like, Jameis has to be the leader here, too, Nate. Alvin Kamara is not going to be the one to suddenly... Jameis needs to also play that
Alvin Kamara's quiet, too. He's a little
He's very
reserved.
Quiet. And Jameis, this is it. And it's like, we've got 2 division games against the Falcons, and we got to travel out to Denver. Jameis Winston, if you want to rewrite your career, and you went to New Orleans to get the MBA degree, as he put it, to learn from Sean Payton and learn from Drew Brees, this is it. This is a 3-week window. Teddy Bridgewater, as Mike said it, did 5 weeks and now has a $25 million contract with the Carolina Panthers because he showed he was a competent, capable quarterback and he can lead a team. Everything Jameis Winston has worked for, it comes down to these 3 weeks. No one is taking Drew Brees' spot. I assume he'll be there in the playoffs, and I assume that'll be that. But for Jameis Winston, like, dude, this is your life. Like, this is it.
It is his life. And I think the stakes are really high because the Saints are going to the playoffs. We know that. There's only one team that gets a bye. That's the only one. So if they go 2-2 or 1-3, they're still going to the playoffs, but 100%. They got to play week 1, and then the Packers get the bye. He's got to win these games. And I think it's very dangerous to compare him to Teddy Bridgewater or even someone like Ryan Tannehill who
Why?
Because Jameis is so different, dude. Like, Teddy Bridgewater is not Jameis Winston. They have wildly different styles. Jameis is the all-time chucker. I mean, he is the Brett Favrean, just throw it through a brick wall. Teddy Bridgewater is much more measured, much better decision maker.
Is that a good or bad thing that they're doing?
I think, well, it's been a bad thing. So the idea that Jameis is going to go in and does the Tiger change the stripes? I know Sean Payton's a great coach, but to completely redo your DNA where you're not going to throw those interceptions. There's another thing about Jameis that is a joke that I think actually is really relevant. And I have a quote here that I think may determine the Saints' fate over the next month or how long he plays. This is Jameis. I'm getting LASIK surgery in the offseason. I can read license plates. I can see street signs. I think that precision in the vision is the biggest difference. No blurriness. I think that's huge. Depth perception has increased tremendously, and those are big things. Now, you can laugh about this, Nate, and I have too, and it's been a joke about Jameis since Tallahassee that he can't see and he squints, and there's a Ricky Vaughn factor with putting the glasses on. I got LASIK. I've talked about it many times. It is a complete life changer. And if he is saying I can read license plates now, Don't you think maybe that might have a bearing on his job as a professional quarterback? We have not seen Jameis post LASIK short of this little display in the season. And I know it's been a meme and there's a million shots of him squinting. I'm dead serious that I think this could make a difference for him. And I think this could be a laser to his eyes, could give the Saints laser focus. Watch. I'm a proponent of LASIK, and I think this will help the New Orleans Saints. I'm dead serious. I think this will help. I do.
Sponsored by LASIK.
Maybe so.
And you got it like early. You got it. Like,
I got it in 2001.
Like, I wouldn't. How new was it then?
It wasn't that old.
Somebody sliced your eyeball, and like I would have been like, let me wait 5 years and see what actually happens here. It is. I agree with you 100%. They want the clear path to the Super Bowl. Jameis Winston is going to have a franchise-defining stretch here, however long he plays, and he's going to have a big role, like it or not, in whether or not Drew Brees gets another ring. They have a half-game lead in the NFC South. They want that bye, and they have to get it. Now, we've got an NFC West convo coming up. Blake Shelton joining our show. Very excited about that. We'll break down Kyler Murray and the Cardinals, his favorite team, and they're looking to keep it going, man. They are incredible. The whole NFC West is. Russell Wilson and the Seahawks are looking to bounce back on their home field. It's Cardinals Seahawks. Thursday Night Football right here on NFL Network. You can catch it at 7:30 p.m. Eastern, also on Fox, and streaming on Prime Video. More GMFB.